Hey everybody, Ryan here, and today I want to talk about why I think that cloud gaming, and specifically GeForce Now, is the future of gaming. This isn't just some tech trend, it's something that has completely transformed how I play games and stream to my community, especially with the setup that I have. So why don't we dive in? All right, so let's start out with my setup. So I am running a computer that has an i5 Intel processor and a NVIDIA 2080 graphics card. So by no means is this a PC to shy away from. Back in the day, this was definitely a setup that was solid, but with some of the modern games demanding more and more power, especially some of these AAA studios that are pushing stuff out, it is starting to show its age. And while that's unfortunate, we all know how it goes. As we progress through time, everybody's upgrading their PCs and things like that. And upgrading my hardware is definitely something I've considered, but we all know how expensive that can be. So sometimes you're in a situation like me where your whole rig just kind of goes out of date, and you're in a situation now where you would need to upgrade the whole entire thing. So now we're talking about an update that would cost hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. And that is not easy for people to just pull that right out in one go sometimes. And it is worth looking into what other options are out there. This is where GeForce Now comes in for me. So not only was I considering that I needed to be upgrading my PC, I was also in a place in my life where I was doing more mobile gaming because of the work that I was doing. My job allowed me several moments throughout the day where I would have extended periods of time where I would be able to plug in, play a game for a little bit, and then get back to work, while iOS apps and some of the games that are provided on the App Store are okay and can maintain my attention for a little while. It just wasn't the same high quality games that I really enjoyed playing at my core, whether it's things on the PC or on the console. These were the games that I wanted to be playing. And the mobile gaming setup that I was using at that point, whether it was my phone or bringing a laptop along with me, just was not able to provide that. I began looking for solutions. First ran across PlayStation's solution to cloud gaming, which is PlayStation Now. PlayStation allows you to stream games from your console here at home to their PlayStation Now app. There are certain games that are on PlayStation Now that are streamable, but it is a bit limited. Of course, it is streaming to the app from your home network. Another big thing to consider here is the in-between, the servers that whatever parent company is running. They have to be excellent as well. It is important that the servers are capable of transmitting whatever it is you're trying to do. PlayStation Now, unfortunately, was quite clunky. It was difficult to set up for mobile. It was very limited. There was definitely input lag. And while it exposed me to what cloud gaming was capable of, which is allowing you to play these games from somewhere other than just your couch or your PC, it wasn't quite the solution I was looking for. The next thing that presented itself to me was Xbox's solution. Xbox has what's called xCloud, and it was a step in the right direction. I would say it is the next best step from PlayStation's solution, because Xbox had a few things that they did differently. Xbox not only gave you the same access to your console games like you have here, it also allowed you access to things that are on the Game Pass subscription, which is massive. That's a large amount of games to have access to, especially from a cloud streaming perspective. On top of that, they allowed PC Game Pass access. And that's significant because now we're getting the ability to not just play whatever games are released on this particular company's console, but we're bleeding into a situation where we're allowed to play PC games in a mobile cloud-based setting. Definitely a step in the right direction, but this is where we started to run into some things that were similar with PlayStation. A bit clunky, difficult to set up, no native iOS app. Not the end of the world, because you can kind of create your own iOS app, and it's really simple to just create an app that links to the particular website and plugs you right into their experience. But still, the clunkiness was there. It's not a plug and play solution. And one of the most important things worth noting was the input lag. There was a good amount of input lag when playing the xCloud version of cloud gaming, and that can just take you right out of the experience. While like being a game changer in terms of having access to such a large amount of games, running into some of these technical hiccups is where it got really, really difficult to continue playing. While not egregious, it would just make something like a shooter a little difficult to play. This is where I discovered GeForce Now, and to my surprise, it has been an absolute game changer. By no means, let me get this construed, this changed my experience, not just with cloud gaming, but gaming in general. With GeForce Now, I have been able to play AAA titles from massive studios with exponentially increased technical requirements anywhere at any time. The only thing that I need to be concerned about on my end has been my internet connection. That's it. I don't have to worry about my technical specs. I don't have to worry about updates. All of that stuff is taken care of by GeForce. I just need to make sure that I have a strong enough connection to stream the game at the quality that I want, and it's plug and play. You sign into all your accounts from other services such as Steam, Xbox, Ubisoft, and Epic. Get those plugged in. GeForce does a check of what games you have access to, and from that point on, as long as whatever game it is has been greenlit to be on GeForce Now, then it's plug and play. It's that easy. The only thing a publisher has to do is say that it's okay for this game to be streamed through GeForce Now, and it's on the service. That's it. There's not a bunch of technical connections that have to happen. There's nothing. All they have to do is say that it's okay, because all GeForce has to do is run it on their server, just like it would be running on your PC, and then GeForce takes over and does all the streaming. So publishers don't have to do anything on their end. There's no figuring out how to get this working on a new console, whatever, porting, anything like that. This is the same game version that you're running on your PC, just getting streamed, and your hardware isn't the one having to do it. GeForce's hardware is doing it. And not only is GeForce's hardware doing it, GeForce has access to some of the best hardware. Nvidia is running their own graphics cards on massive machines that are allowed to max these settings out like crazy. You do have to pay for the tier increases, but still, we're talking about very capable machines running these games. Now, as some of you know, I stream my gameplay over on Twitch and YouTube. This adds another layer of complexity because streaming takes a toll on your machine. That's for sure. The resources get eaten up in all directions, from the game trying to pull as much as it can and the stream trying to pull as much as it can, especially with somebody like me who's streaming to multiple platforms. So before using GeForce Now, I would have to make compromises like dialing down my game settings, risking choppy streams, which is really poor for the consumer end, for you, dropped frames, things like that. Just an experience that when somebody comes into a stream, it's not what they're looking for. And as somebody who's providing a stream, it's not what I'm trying to provide to somebody. I want a smooth experience for you from the viewing end. I want a smooth experience for me from the gaming end. And I want a smooth experience for both of us for the kind of quality that we're seeing on both what I'm playing and what you're watching. But GeForce Now, my PC no longer has to split the difference. My PC gets to focus entirely on pushing out a quality stream, and GeForce Now and Nvidia are doing all the heavy lifting when it comes to the game. They're just streaming it to my PC, and as long as I have a good internet connection, I can both send out what I need to send out to you guys, and I can downstream what I need to downstream for the game. Makes the heavy lifting much easier. It frees up so much of my PC, and it allows me to deliver you a high quality stream without having to compromise my own gaming experience or the experience that you're witnessing on your end, because maybe the stream is high quality and you're getting a 4K experience on your end, but if that 4K experience is looking at a potato for a game because I can't run it at high settings, there's no point in it being 4K in the first place, and there's no point in you clicking, because what are we watching here? I'm just going to go to somebody that can stream a 4K game in 4K quality and play it at 4K. So this makes everything nice, because whether I'm playing the latest open world RPG or a fast-paced shooter, whatever it is that I decide I want to pull up on here, my viewers are getting a smooth and uninterrupted experience. I don't have to stress about whether or not my rig is handling everything well. I get to focus on the stream. I get to focus on my community, and the gaming is taken care of. All I got to do is sit down and play. There's another major benefit from GeForce Now is somebody who is looking for the freedom to game from anywhere, much like I was when we were talking earlier in this video. I had a job that allowed me to take some time to play some games during the day, and this is something that gives me the option to do that now. It gives the freedom to game from anywhere. As long as I have a decent connection, which is not impossible to find these days. I wouldn't say it's widespread, but strong internet connections are not impossible to find these days. It allows me to access my entire library of games wherever I want with whatever I have. Whether I'm at home on my own PC and sitting here and relaxing, or I'm out with a laptop, maybe at a hotel, or even if I'm just on my phone, I can hop into my favorite games with the same high quality as if I was sitting right here with a beast of a PC. It's no different. As long as that internet connection is good enough, I get the same experience, and I get to access the same saves, all of that stuff. I'm not having different instances when I log in different times or on different devices. I get the same experience. So if I'm sitting here playing and then I get on a plane and I fly somewhere and I'm in a hotel, I log right back in to where I was. I keep playing. And in between that whole journey, if I want to be in the car on my phone playing that same game, it pulls up the same experience. And I'm getting the same high quality on every device as long as I have an internet connection that is capable. So the flexibility is an absolute game changer. Absolute game changer. And we're not just talking in terms of different locations. We're talking, if you noticed, in terms of devices. I'm playing massive PC only games on my MacBook M2. Unbelievable. Games that I never would have dreamed of being able to play on my MacBook beforehand, or even on my iPhone. I'm playing some of these massive shooters, RPGs, just different, even low-level games that I would have never been able to play. I'm getting that experience on the kind of devices that I want to carry around with me, and I don't have to stress about whether or not it's going to have access. I would also mention something like the Steam Deck, and while that's an excellent solution for getting to play a lot of these games, this supersedes that because it allows you to reintroduce yourself to some of the customizations that you may like. While you may be just fine sitting in a hotel room playing your Steam Deck and having access to whatever PC games you're wanting to play, you don't always get to enjoy your mouse or keyboard or whatever kind of setup it is more relaxed. And that can be maybe just a little bit of a push in the right direction for people who are looking for something like that. With GeForce Now, I can have my MacBook or my phone with me, and I can hook up whatever wireless device it is, whether it's a controller, wireless keyboard, mouse, whatever it is. I can hook that up and get a similar gaming experience to what I would have even if I was at home on my own PC. So that's a big plus, as well as you're getting to use the things that you want to use in the places that you want to use them and play the games that you want to play. Another important thing to mention that we talked about early on and was a major barrier for some of these other services was something like input lag. So I've tried the other cloud gaming services like Xbox xCloud, PlayStation Now. I've even tried something like Shadow PC that just has an entire PC somewhere at Shadow's server farm that will stream the whole PC to your device, but again, you run into things like input lag or latency. Those are the biggest issues that we experience when it comes to this, and that is difficult. Input lag is probably the biggest barrier when it comes to cloud gaming. So what does GeForce Now look like? I have experienced virtually no input lag. The responsiveness feels just as good as if I were playing a game locally here on my PC. It's a huge deal because it means you can rely on GeForce Now for something like competitive gaming, which I know sounds really strange, but hear me out. I would say 85 to 90% of gamers fall into a category that can be considered low to casual gaming. Many people are definitely even teetering on that level of high intensity competitive gaming. I would say that last 10% is people that are in the competitive sphere playing for esports or playing at these high levels that require absolutely no latency, absolutely no input lag. You can detect a singular frame that's out of place. That last 10% of people, this is probably not for them. But you also have to consider, if you're in that last 10% and that is the kind of gaming that you're accustomed to, you're most likely in a category that already is a person that should have their own PC that is capable of pushing stuff like this. So this is definitely marketed to the other 85 or 90% of us that are not necessarily playing games at such a high level where this is a requirement. And I'm not talking about input lag that is noticeable. This is not noticeable in any circumstance. Barring a situation where you have poor internet connection and you just have latency anyways, even if you had your own PC with its own hardware, we're not running into any input lag issues. The responsiveness is unreal. I have been blown away by GeForce's ability to create a connection that feels as if it is native. So that is one of the biggest things that pushes GeForce Now into the direction of excellence that it needs to be. So let's break this all down now. Why do I think that GeForce Now is the future of gaming? To me, it's simple. It's accessible. It's powerful. It gives you the flexibility to game how and where you want, which makes the limitations on your hardware no longer a factor. This is now an experience where whether or not you're a casual gamer, a streamer, even a competitive player, GeForce Now has something to offer to you. For me, it's given my aging PC new life that I was not expecting it to have. It's allowing me to enjoy the latest games in the way that I want to enjoy them at max settings and to stream to my community without compromise. That's a key factor here. Any of you that are content creators are going to be able to push content out or stream to your communities without having to compromise all these things that you usually have to decide on. And the best part is that it's seamless, not only in its integration in terms of just being able to plug and play once you have all your accounts hooked up, but also in terms of input lag and latency experience. If you're connecting to the right servers, you have the right settings put on, and you're making sure that your internet connection is a good and stable one, you are going to have an experience that is absolutely excellent. So if you haven't tried GeForce Now, I highly recommend it. I think it's worth a shot. It might just change the way that you play games. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell just to be sure that you get notified of anything else that comes up on this channel. I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried any cloud gaming experiences? What is your biggest barrier and why are you hesitant to try, or why have you tried and gone away from cloud gaming, and what would bring you back? I'm curious to know. If you want to know more about cloud gaming, or you're already on it and you want to see some updates, check out this video here where we talk about some of the newest updates that just happened this week and why cloud gaming is continuing to grow into an excellent experience. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one.